Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Figure It Out. I'm here with Mike and Tyler. I'm Joe, in case you forgot, because I almost did. Guys, how are we doing?
We're doing good, man. We're doing good.
Well, we've got an absolute barn burner of an episode lined up, but before we get to it, I wholeheartedly agree. Before we get to it, let's talk new acquisitions. Tyler, you got any?
Yeah, I do have a new acquisition, but I am not going to call it out here because we're going to do an unboxing for it in the near future, and I like it to be a surprise. So not gonna show it off just yet.
Yep.
Wow.
I have
now
to wait.
I'm on the edge of my seat. I'm excited.
I have to wait.
All right.
All right. Well, I'm gonna let Mike round us out. I've just got a couple quick ones. I was at Target with my family, and we were over by the Pokemon section, and they just so happened to. First of all, Pokemon stuff was 20% off, and they had in like the little version, like the little figurines, they had Arcanine finally.
What?
I'd been hunting that thing low key, just taking. It's like whenever you walk by, like back in the day, they used to have this just like row of payphones called a payphone bank, and if you're bored or you're walking past, you just pop your finger into the little slots just to see if there was any quarters, just to you
see what's going down. See what's shaking.
Like you miss 100% of the change that you don't try for. So I've been anytime by the toys, just so happen to be by the Pokemon toys. I'm always looking for Arcanine because that was always my favorite growing up, still is, and just so happened that they had them, and I was like, I wasn't planning on getting any toys. I even told my sons, like, don't ask because you're not going to get them. But then I saw that and I was like, you know what? I'm feeling pretty saucy. So I went ahead and let my boys pick out some toys. And just on a lark, I went back and I started actually thumbing through the cards, remembering my training from childhood.
You always look. And I trained you. Always look.
Yeah.
Always look.
And I'm glad I did because they also had an Alakazam. And I said, that's happening as well. So, yeah. So and
I remember when I was getting into 151 with you, I asked you your favorite Pokemon, and you did not hesitate. You said Arcanine right away. Like, there was no hesitation.
All right.
He's been
I'm stoked.
Yep. Pokemon don't know squat about Pokemon guy here. What did you get exactly? Is it a booster pack? Is it a 10 with cards? What did you?
I'll tell you what. Actually, if you will indulge, so here's
okay.
That Alakazam looks cool.
That's Alakazam. Yeah, I'm gonna turn off my little background thing here. No, his room's dirty.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got his little spoons to practice his telekinesis.
There you go.
So there is no spoon.
This is the one though.
Oh, he's cool looking.
Beautiful Arcanine.
Okay. All right.
Nice.
So
that's awesome. What'd your boys get?
Nolan got a Minecraft thing, and Waylon wanted a Knuckles from Sonic. So I was like,
cool.
Right. And then also a friend of the channel, Randy from the X and One Cast. If you're not subscribed, go subscribe. Doing a lot of fun stuff over there. He 3D printed me a Hornet from Halo 3 for my table that I've been working on in that game. And so I finally got around to painting this up.
Put some time into those highlights, man. Oh, good.
Thank you.
Man, those pop. That green looks good.
Yeah, honestly, the thing I'm most kind of proud of is how just like dark and kind of like worn in that like the engine, like the propulsion is.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, dude. You did for those of you that don't know, that was 3D printed in black. So if you go look at the windscreen that he did on there, like that's pretty fantastic. Like that looks like a legit screen.
I was originally gonna do like sky blue, but just like whenever I was painting Dungeons and Dragons, the wolf gray just called to me.
It looks good.
And that was the choice.
It's true. Joseph's color palette. When in doubt, go with wolf gray.
Yeah, now it's wolf gray and OD green.
Just like me in blue and white. When in doubt, it's just going to be blue and white.
So, but yeah, that's that. I'm really pleased with how this turned out, and it looks really good on the landing pad that I built for it. So, yeah, those are my acquisitions. Mike, take us home.
Okay, so my first acquisition, just acquired a 10 key for Echo Dome in Warcraft on a Mythic Plus. First 10 key of the season. Pretty stoked about that. I know it's a little slow, but it takes me a bit to get going and relearning a new season. So no judgments. Now
only judging that it wasn't plastic.
So with that said, now let's get to plastic.
Okay, there we
Trailbreaker.
go. Yeah.
This is like really cool. I'm so glad that mold came in. This is going to be a minute, so get comfortable. Got a little air raid.
Yeah.
I thought you had him already.
Nope, I thought I did, but I didn't. I had to reorder it. And
Chewy.
you know your boy's going to get Chewy. And then Scavenger.
No. Uh-oh.
Ooh.
Uh-oh. One step closer to Devastator, baby.
Right. And then this beaut right here. Look at this.
Oh.
Look at that.
Yeah,
86
that looks
Megatron.
good.
And then they fixed what Tyler and I were talking about. They made him a tank, man. They made him a tank. That's awesome. Now we got Agent Callus.
Nice.
So cool about that. Kind of reminds me of a little Sabretooth.
Yeah, Callus's side, like mutton chops, were righteous.
Yeah.
And especially whenever
Good old
spoiler,
massage.
whenever he defects and he gets that cool jacket with like the fur lining.
Yeah.
Boss.
And him and Zeb become like really good friends. Okay. So this is the one right here, guys. This is the one. Good old Law and Order.
Ooh.
Like, look at that. And then look at the dog.
Longtime listeners will not underestimate how long you've been waiting for that.
Yes. Also the rawhides, man. Like, let's shout out the rawhides. Okay, so I know we normally don't go over comic books, but if you've listened to us, you know we're all about Age of Apocalypse. Me, I am notorious for hating alt worlds. I want my time back for the Marvel Cinematic Universe with the snap. Hated it, but give me Age of Apocalypse any day of the week. So we're talking about Jeff Loeb writing. So
Is it Jeff Loeb or Scott Lobdell?
Jeff Loeb.
Oh.
Like, look at that. That's just
Yeah.
beautiful. Right? And then of course I went in on the covers. I got a blank one just in case, I ever see someone be like, hey man, draw me a Age of Apocalypse Colossus or something.
They charging $60 for an autograph. I don't know what they want to charge you to actually draw the figs.
Depending on who it
Draw the
was.
characters.
I'm a single dude, man. I got to report to nobody.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You can do that kind of thing. There you go. That's a good call. That's a good call.
And then this is a foil cover by Laniel Yu. I don't know who that is, but this is really good artwork. So,
Ooh.
Well, that looks good.
yeah. So, man, I read the first issue and I can't recommend it enough. It was awesome. It felt like old school X-Men, felt like old school Age of Apocalypse. Felt right. I really enjoyed it.
Nice.
So that's...
Lord knows we need some good X-Men nowadays.
Oh, man. I was so happy. I've been like getting the Twitch to read some good X-Men. Like, I'm still looking for... I'll probably just download some 52 Swamp Thing just so I can get back into that. I remember reading the first issue of the 52 Swamp Thing, and I was like, man, I should really just go ahead and just get the graphic novel. So I'm going to do that. It's just I got that Warcraft bug, and I'm coming off being sick. So I'm going to get back at it. But that's all I got.
Right on. That's a nice solid finish.
Yeah.
So, man, I'm excited for that Law and Order and that Megatron. Oof.
Oh man, it's going to be good stuff.
All right. Well,
I want to be. I think Tyler should be the one that does the unboxing for that, because I think that's just going to hit home with him. It being a tank, it like being Megatron.
I'm super excited for that. I am super excited for that. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, I've still, man, it's going to be great. But instead of looking forward and ahead, we're going to look to right now. And right now, we're talking some Joes. So this episode of Squad Series, working title, Barroom Brawlers. Imagine, we're going to do a little imaginative scenario. You are a green shirt, just fresh recruit, been doing G.I. Joe stuff for a little bit, had a cup of coffee in the pit, as it were. And you are walking through the halls, and when all of a sudden, walking towards you is Duke, who kind of motions over to you and says, "Hey, there you are. Glad I found you. I wanted to tell you personally that your efforts in our fight against Cobra have not gone unnoticed. With that in mind, I've seen to it that your request for shore leave has been approved. Get out of here and rest up. Wind down or do whatever you've got to do to stay in top fighting form. We never know when the Fang Gang will slither on out of their whatever hole they're hiding in and strike next." So, the scenario. You are on shore leave for some much-deserved R&R. While at a watering hole off base, you encounter a group of ruffians who are determined to pick a fight with you. And it just so happens, a group of fellow Joes are nearby and are eager to jump into the fray. Who are you selecting? What is your methodology and rationale? Let's see who. I'll tell you. I'll just ask who wants to go first on this one, guys.
I'll go first.
Yeah,
I'll go first. All right. So threw me a curveball with this. So we're still able to pick 5. So we'll have 5 in the new guy.
Well, just like it's you. You wouldn't count.
Okay.
You, so just
okay. Yeah. So when I put this list together, I thought of G.I. Joe Renegades. Like, this is going to be a bar fight, yes, but it's also going to be like them on the run. So having some like brand new recruit, I kind of like the idea of that, right? So there's going to be like a total of 6 on this mission, and then they're going to go on wild zany adventures, kind of like G.I. Joe Renegades, which I really thought was a good idea because it kept that cast small, kept you with them for an entire season, and you really got to kind of interact with those characters as much as possible. You kind of knew what their motivations were. You got to know them on a different level. So the questions that I would ask, like before I started writing this, would be, what makes them go on the run? Were they set up for something? Were they, did it look like they killed someone? Like, why are they on the run now from this bar fight? So that's something I would hammer out. Also, I looked at that ramen toy stuff today that I was talking with you about, Tyler. And so the white van just inspired me. I would just put these people in a white van and just have them tour America while they were on a run, kind of like they did in G.I. Joe Renegades, where they had that Cobra van, but this one would be just a white van. That's how I would do it. So the first person that I'm going to name is, who is going to start the fight? Who is going to throw the first punch? And without a doubt, first person on my list, the Salty Sailor, the Sea Dog, Shipwreck. Man, he's going to run his mouth. He's going to start a fight. It's guaranteed. If there was no one around, he would fight someone in the group. But it's just going to go down that way. So I picked Shipwreck just for that. And also I wanted to, like I said, I'm going to put them on like essentially running, right? They're not going to just be able to go back to base and say everything's okay. Please get me out of this situation, Chief. So what would he be like on the run? You know, like that would be very rough for him to be like around a bunch of people for an extended period of time, right? Because he always seemed like one of those, yeah, you've been here for 5 minutes, man. That's enough. So kind of person. So now I need someone that was the reason the fight started. And it's not her fault, but it's covered. Because if there's some ruffians around, they're probably going to say something to Cover Girl that is not appropriate. And of course, Shipwreck lacks the ability to have any couth or de-escalate the situation. And he's just going to say something. Also, like I said, they're going to be going across the country and running. So I would need, some mechanic for that really cool looking white van that Ramen made that will eventually be somewhere in my house. so that's really cool to me. I really like the idea of Cover Girl. Now, I really want some spice to this group. I really want a lot of folks kind of not getting along right away. Because, sometimes when you're in D&D, there's always a few players that don't want to get along at the beginning. Okay, so I want there to be some like tension and interaction. So the leader is going to be Scarlet. I never imagined her as diplomatic just because when I read her card, it said she didn't get along with Lady J. And in my mind, how could you not get along with Lady J unless you're just a confrontational person? Maybe that's just me kind of glorifying my, one of my favorite females in G.I. Joe. So maybe that's just me. How would she get along with Shipwreck? So automatically, I can't imagine her getting along with Cover Girl. I can't imagine her getting along with Shipwreck. So I've got all these people that are going to have tension. Scarlet's probably going to have tension with Cover Girl and Shipwreck. Cover Girl's probably going to have tension with Scarlet. Shipwreck, and those three aren't really get along. So I need someone that's just going to be a calming presence in the room, kind of the peace guy, right? And I'm going to put Doc with him. I'm curious his skill set. I think he'd be really fun to write, because he is a combat medic. But from my understanding is he's not a conscientious objector like Lifeline. So the only thing is I read that he just doesn't carry. It's not like he's not proficient with those weapons. It's not like he wouldn't use them. It's just he wouldn't carry them.
Also, if I recall, his action figure, like his actual figure, comes with a flare gun. So, like, if push came to shove, I mean, I could see him doing work with it.
Yeah, and I haven't seen anywhere that he wouldn't be able to defend himself. He could throw a punch with the best of them if you get him in a bar fight.
He could throw hands while reciting Dostoevsky.
Yeah, and it's like his skill set, going across country, like just being able to keep infections at bay, being able to treat someone with food poisoning,
cuts and scrapes from broken beer bottles.
Yeah. So that's my fourth. Now my fifth. I had such a hard time with my last person that I looked on my wall of G.I. Joe figures, and one figure stood out to me, and that person was Rock and Roll. I also, kind of read a little bit about his bio. He's a guitar player. He prefers to be a surfer. He's a beach bum. So what would he be like in this like cross-country trip around the world? Where there would be times when he felt cramped, and there might be a time when he just finally gets to spend some time on a beach or, playing his guitar, or like then in those moments he could be happy. It's like he would just be that dude that just needs like this little piece of time, and he's cool. His first card says, is cunning but naive, forceful but shy, possesses a strong sense of loyalty to his teammates, and is sincerely concerned about their well-being. A man of honor and integrity who can be counted on to hold the line. So you've got all these, spicy tamales, right? You got Shipwreck, Cover Girl, Scarlet. You got Doc, who really isn't a fighter, but he can kind of keep everyone together. So you have this just essential warrior that is just like, I'm loyal to you guys. I'm going to fight till my last breath. I am your tomcat. Like, let's go. I'm your dude. So
you were talking about D&D. Frontline fighter is a frontline fighter, I always say.
Like when he gets out of the van, he is locked and loaded, ready to go, ready to fight for his team. And,
doing the little Henry Cavill.
And he's got like the skill set to back it up. And also another thing that was written on the second version, I think, where it was the khaki with the gray thing. It says he has been consistently updating his equipment and skills. So what skills could he get from CoverGirl throughout this mission? What skills could he get from Doc? What skills could he get from Scarlet?
Because, what bad habits could he pick up from Shipwreck?
Exactly. So like what intelligence and what could he get from Scarlet? What technical skills could he get from CoverGirl? What medical skills could he get from Doc? So this is a dude that's going to be giving his last breath for your team. And then on top of that, constantly just getting better with his skills and learning new weapons. So if there's a Cobra weapon that he gets access to, he's going to try to learn it. He's always going to be that guy that is just seeking skills, seeking improvement. And maybe he gets that from, being a musician, where it's like, I'm never just going to be static. I got to constantly practice, got to constantly keep learning. That's my team. Pick it apart. What did I miss?
I'm not picking it apart. I've said before, rock and roll. He's I think more than top 5. I think he's top 3 for me. So because I remember having him, like him and Topside were the two that I remember having all the time growing up.
That version 2 of rock and roll, was your jam. That was your jam.
Yeah. But we do share one member, but we can get to that person here.
Tyler,
here in a minute.
What did you think, man? Pick it apart, dude.
First of all, I want to speculate on the one that you share. I think you guys. I'm gonna speculate it's Shipwreck. And it's not Shipwreck.
That's a good guess,
okay.
But we'll see.
All right. I thought it was a good list, Mike. It's interesting you took a narrative approach to the scenario, which is not surprising. I think it's interesting. You and I have nothing in common on this list for the first time in the Squad series. We share no, at least especially with G.I. Joe, like we shared nobody in common. My list is very different.
If it's anything like your previous list, there's going to be some left field deep cuts that I'm looking forward to.
There's going to be some good stuff. I will tell you this, Mike. I think your list is probably a lot more realistic. Like I think that if your scenario that you're talking about, getting in a bar, like my bar fighting days are way behind me, but very rarely, in fact, never is it like, hey, I've got everybody I would like to have here with me. Like it doesn't work that way. So I think
that's exactly how my list is.
Yeah, I think that's a very good realistic approach to, hey, you know what? When stuff hits the fan, it probably ain't going to be. In fact, it's definitely not going to be the way you want it to be in the situation you want it to be in.
There's always
it's all going to go wrong.
There's always that one friend in the bathroom throwing up in the bar that misses out on everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now I want to get singles for all of these Lucy's, and then get that white van and put everyone in the white van.
You should do it.
Action figures, right? Just to be clear.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. All right, Tyler. Who you're talking about your list? Give it.
Okay.
That's right.
So my list is a lot more on the nose. Okay. My list is really oriented, kind of. Look, you got a weekend pass, you're in a bar, some folks are acting the way they shouldn't act, you end up in a bar fight. And if you're going to pick who you want to have with you on the bar fight, that's who I picked. Very on the nose, very straightforward, like who's going to win a bar fight. And so Sergeant Slaughter.
Interesting.
If I'm picking someone to come be in a bar fight with me, I think I would like Sergeant Slaughter. When I initially put this list, I'm not a big Sergeant Slaughter fan, just so we're all clear, or at least I historically haven't been. And it's not that I have any, like, I don't dislike the guy. I just, when they introduced him and he comes in and he starts tossing dudes like over,
not just dudes, bats. These are essentially Cobra Terminators.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
The T-800 versions of Cobras. And he's just like diving into them, clotheslining them, yeeting them.
Yeah.
Like it's excessive.
it was
It was a
way
bit
over
much.
the top, and it
Yeah.
bothered me a lot. For if
Same.
you've
I'm
learned
glad
anything
this-
from
same.
Yeah.
It bugged
bothered me a lot. So if you've learned anything about me when I'm building lists, when I'm looking at things I like and don't like about vehicles or whatever, I like realism. I like things that are realistic. I do want to push the boundary of that a little bit, but I want it to be realistic, and that was a very unrealistic introduction, and it totally turned me off of him.
I
From
will
the very
say
get-go.
though, I will say, I loved him and how they brought him down in the '86 movie. He
Yeah.
is so
Better.
much more palatable.
Better. Yeah, better.
Like
100% better. And I will tell you, what's really brought me around lately, I didn't know this about Sergeant Slaughter as I was watching. I've been watching, on occasion things pop up in my feed and I watch them, and I watched the history of kind of how he got his contract with G.I. Joe. And I found out that Hasbro approached him to be on the G.I. Joe team, and he thought he was a professional wrestler first, right? And so this was a huge opportunity for him. He was so excited, and he really thought it could help out it was the WWF at the time, now the WWE. He really thought it could help him out. And so he went to Vince McMahon and said, "Hey, listen, I want to go do this, but obviously, I'm Sergeant Slaughter is your brand. You kind of own that brand. I want to
trademark, yeah.
I need your permission." Basically to do it. And McMahon was like, "Oh man, that's amazing, that's great, it's wonderful, what a great thing." No, you can't do it. And turns out that just like weeks before that, McMahon had signed a merchandise deal for action figures for WWF wrestlers with another company, and this would be in direct conflict with that. Even though these aren't wrestling figures, they're G.I. Joe, this would be a direct conflict. So Vince was like, "No, you can't do that." And I think Sergeant Slaughter, he went home and was talking to his wife about it, and he was really upset because this was going to be a huge opportunity for him. He really wanted to go do this. He wanted to be a symbol for American boys growing up. Like, he wanted that opportunity, and he really hated that it was being taken away from him. And him and his wife talked about it, and his wife kind of convinced him, like, "Hey, listen, this is a one-time opportunity. You better do it. You better figure it out." So he called up Vince McMahon and quit. He quit the WWF so he could become Sergeant Slaughter for G.I. Joe. And that to me showed a tremendous commitment to something that's very near and dear to my heart, obviously growing up, and that totally changed my perspective on Sergeant Slaughter, the man. So, just a little shout out there. That's an amazing story, and I think it panned out pretty well for him. I think it was the right decision. But that takes some guts. He's earned his way into my heart and onto my list. And let's be real. I mean, he could throw a whooping in a bar fight. So I'll take that all day. Number 2 on my list, I want Mercer.
Yes.
Ex-Cobra Viper. Cobra Vipers, if you don't follow G.I. Joe, they're basically like the Army Rangers of Cobra. They're elite Cobra troopers. These aren't the mainline blue shirt guys that get smoked all over the place. The Vipers are very capable fighters, and he's a more capable fighter than most Vipers because he had the wisdom and the intelligence to see the evil that Cobra was doing. He had the ability and figured out how to escape from Cobra Island. Like, he's elite among elite is what I'm getting at. So that's the kind of guy I want with me in a fight. If we're throwing hands, that's one of the guys I want alongside of me. I'm gonna save the best for last. So number 3 on my list, give me Gung Ho.
Yes.
I almost at rock and roll spot almost with Gung Ho. Almost.
When I was putting this list together, by this time I'd already used Gung Ho. Like, I needed him elsewhere, but
He's Gung Ho's coming
well
with
played,
me in my
sir.
bar fight. I'm going to tell you, not that I have a lot of experience in bar fights. I have had a few, and I can tell you that interestingly enough, the last one I ever got in was with we were at OU Texas down in Texas, and
that tracks.
yeah, one of my friends. You can see where this is going, right? But one of my friend's dads, great guy, good dude, hung out with us. Like, he was kind of one of the fellas, was with us, and he is a former Marine. And I will tell you, he was hell on wheels. He's an old man. I mean, even by those standards, he's basically probably my age, or probably probably older than I was then. But he was an old man even then. And Marines don't forget how to kick butt. And if you're gonna pick a group of folks, like, that's a good choice. So love me some Gung Ho. He's on my list. Number 4 on my list is Quick Kick.
Yes. Okay.
Inevitably, there might be somebody there who actually knows some legitimate martial arts, some really good MMA type fighters, and you want quick kick for something like that.
And
it's
he was another one that I was playing with just because he has a sense of humor, right?
Yep.
So I could definitely see him in a bar, hanging out with the guys drinking.
Because
good call.
Also,
that's a
he's
good
an
one.
actor. He's pretty boy. Somebody's girlfriend's gonna be talking to him, and I just imagine him as like the Peter Parker, like throwing quips while he's throwing hands.
Yep. And I also think we know who he is. We know what he's capable of, but he's the kind of person that almost everybody else is going to underestimate if they don't know who he is. Now, granted, he's an actor, so he may be famous enough that they recognize him, but even still, they're going to assume that he's an actor, so he's not a real martial artist, as opposed to this guy's actually a martial artist who happens to know how to act. So that's quick kick. My trump card, my ace in the hole. The reason you don't get in a bar fight with my crew. William, the refrigerator Perry.
He counts.
Hey, massive man.
He counts. I have the figure now to prove it. And I promise you want no part of that in a bar fight.
Man, your team would smoke mine, dude. Your team would smoke mine.
Well, so your team is realistic. My team is like I'm picking the people I'm cherry picking who I want. Like we're I'm not saying we would do this, but we basically I got this crew together to come start the fight in the bar because we want to, we're bored. It's time to throw down. You've got a realistic list. I've got an alpha list.
Oh my gosh.
So anyway, that's the list I put together. I've honestly been ever since these, I mean, we put the scenarios together for this, Joe. It's been a long time ago. I don't remember how long ago it was, but I mean, I put this list together back then when you first put the scenarios out there, and I have been so excited to talk about this scenario specifically for that reason.
And it makes it even more awesome because you got the fig.
Yeah, I've got the fig now, so yeah, it's even better.
Real quick, I just wanted to kind of explain, we've come up with these scenarios, so that way, whenever we're making our list, we kind of have to actually think about them, put some thought into, do some research, and also try to discover new Joes that weren't just our usual top 10s, top 20s, or whatever. So, and also trying to keep from having to just be like, oh, well, like there's a let's make a squad. Well, I'm just going to put Snake Eyes in it because he's the I win card, so just try to kind of mix things up a little, kind of step out of our comfort zone as far as characters and, just thinking about fun stuff. Cause at the end of the day, that's why we do the squad series. So yeah, no, that list 10 out of 10, no notes.
Dude, that is awesome.
Thank you.
Completely tactical.
Thank
Love
you.
it. All right, Joe, bring us home, dude. What you got?
I'm so excited. Okay. My rationale is I wanted statistically the Joes I would imagine are more likely to be in a bar than others.
Okay.
And I want to take that and also the group of like heavy hitters that I would want and trust to back me up. And I want to see like where they overlap. And that is how I got my list.
Okay.
So I'm going to go my 1 and 2. We're 100% getting in, like there's 100% chance that we're going to get into a bar fight. And these two, like one of them is 50% likely the starter. And the other one is 50% likely the starter. Mike called Shipwreck. And that was number 1 on my list as well.
Yep. Yeah.
Just because there's an episode of the old cartoon, I think it was called Lights, Camera, Cobra, and detachment of Joes were sent to a movie set to consult, and Shipwreck talked to the director as soon as they got to set. Like as soon as they got out of the car, he goes up to the director. He's like, "Hey, I need some money so I can go to town and pick up some headlight fluid and elbow grease for the vehicles." And so the director was just like,
"That's a pretty good Shipwreck voice, by the way."
He was like, "Producer, we like give him the credit card, give him the studio credit card, get him a car back to town. Like, I need authenticity, like authenticness or whatever." And CoverGirl was there, and she was like, My gosh, I can't believe that just happened. I better go with them to keep him out of trouble. And those two wind up getting in a bar fight. So, Mike, with your first two, I was like, did he watch that episode?
Yeah.
But
So I was right. Yeah. What you overlapped on was Shipwreck.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%. Like that was happening. So Shipwreck's my number one. He's probably 50% of the reason why we're getting in a bar fight. The second person is the other 50%, and that is Lieutenant Falcon, because he is going to say something to somebody. He is going to make a pass at the wrong lady and just stir the pot. It makes sense. Like it makes sense. So yeah, so Shipwreck and Falcon, they're my crap stirrers, as it were. And then I kind of low key did. We're fighting in pairs here because there's those two who are my instigators, and then these two. There's also a good chance that the fight starts just whenever they're fighting each other. I'm taking Leatherneck, and I'm taking Wetsuit.
Wow.
Tyler was talking about Marines, like Leatherneck's Marine, Wetsuit's a SEAL. They constantly were bickering in the cartoon. It's one of those things where, like, whenever you're a kid and you're like, why are these guys fight? Like, they fight like G.I. Joe and Cobra. Like, it doesn't make any sense. But then like you get older and like, you hear stories about, it's like, oh, like people in the Navy and people in the Marines, they give each other crap. It's how they bond. So, but like as soon as a stranger throws a punch at either of them, the other is going to be the first to full send. And then those are my 1s and 2s, 3s and 4s. I have a 5, and then I'm going to go ahead, and if I have to, judge is ruling on this, but I'm going to do I'm going to add a little secondary roster spot. I'm going to go Mutt, just because in his file card, he doesn't like people and he doesn't get along with people. So he's, already curmudgeonly and cantankerous. And if I'm getting Mutt, you better believe at some point he's gonna get in trouble, and then through the window comes crashing in. Junk is gonna come in. Junkyard.
You got him. Approved.
So
approved.
Yeah. So yeah, Mutt and Junkyard are my 5th and 6th. So that's my team.
That's an awesome team.
It's a fun.
I like how you built in your own combustion, because it's like Wetsuit and Leatherneck are just gonna get in a fight.
Yeah.
Like Shipwreck might even help it along.
Yeah.
Yep. There's no temperance. There's no cool, like there's no cool reasoning. There's no level-headedness. Mine's just punch folks in the mouth and go.
That's good.
Punch each other in the mouth and go.
Yes. So, like, I want people to be watching this and being like, man, this is dysfunctional. Like, how are we not all speaking Cobranese or something?
Oh,
I like it. Good list.
Good list.
Thank you. Well, y'all have heard from us, and now it's your turn. If you were at a bar, which Joe's, which Cobra would you want?
Wow.
Like,
that's interesting.
I mean, yeah, like let's mix it up, have fun with it, get weird in the comments. We'll read it, and it'll be a good time. As far as announcements go, guys, like y'all got anything or
Legion remakes rumored October 7th, so that's gonna be fun. Gonna be involved in that heavily.
Hopefully doing some unboxings here in 10 or 12 days, I think. I'm trying to put together some of that. And,
few, yeah.
We released after that, obviously, but try to get some of that done. I don't know that I got much else, guys. Yeah, that's it. Still trying to get my last pod over here so I can get it unloaded and be done with this freaking moving thing.
Get that off the books.
How many pods?
3 pods. We had 3 total pods.
Jeez.
And then two trucks worth of movers. So like 2 big trucks worth of movers. So I mean, we have entirely too much stuff. Still have entirely too much stuff, although we have gotten rid of a ton of stuff, which is good. That's what we need to be doing. So progress is being made, but not as fast as I would like. I'm pushing as hard as I can without
burning out.
Well, yeah, it's not so much I'm worried about burning out. It's more about upsetting the boss.
Also, I'm sure children's sports are being
that That also does not help. Yeah, that's also definitely right smack in the middle of that. Which I mean, that that really doesn't stop. So good luck
Yeah.
finding time when that's
Doesn't.
not happening. So anyway,
We do have some unboxings coming up. We're excited. I'm gonna try to get some more stuff to come in, hopefully before when we do them.
All right. Well, in the meantime and in between time, I've been Joe, and with me as always, unless unforeseen circumstances happen, like moving, like we learned the hard way, are Mike and Tyler. And when it comes to some shore leave and getting in a scrap with some fellow Joes, you guys helped us figure it out. Take care. Bye.
There you go.
I'll be right back, and
We
I'll
will
probably
indulge. We will
I will
indulge.
probably just cut this out. So
hello, future Joe. You're going to have to edit this out because you didn't have your stuff ready.
I'm all right with it. Okay. I'm not going to make a Snake Eyes movie joke.
Yeah.
I'm on a new level.
On a new level.